Mr. Miguel, it's time to take your final written test. Now, this is very important, so you need to take your time with it, do the best job you can. And I understand we have a little problem with understanding, so I don't usually allow this, but I'm going to allow Mr. John to be a translator here, to kind of help you to understand this, okay? So, finished? We need to do our driving test in the car, behind the wheel, and this is only half of it, so this shows me that you should have somewhat of a knowledge of the driving laws. Okay, let's secure the car. You've got the car in park now. Go ahead and shut the ignition off. And I tell you what, why don't we go back in our classroom and we'll go over your driving part, your driving performance, okay? I have some bad news. I really appreciate your attitude. Your attitude is great and your effort is outstanding. But there's some major mistakes that you made in the driving part. Your written test was perfect, but your driving in the car behind the wheel part was not good. I'm sorry to have to tell you that. You made 3 major mistakes. As we first started, you're what I call a left foot braker. In other words, you put one foot on the brake and 1 foot on the accelerator. You had your left foot on the brake, your right foot on the accelerator.
No, that is how we use in Africa.
That's not how we do it here in America. It's not safe. You need to learn to drive with 1 foot only, your right foot. And that's a big mistake, really. It's something you have to work on. I understand that you don't have quite the knowledge of the laws here yet, but that's a major mistake. The second mistake was as you backed out, as we got in the car and you backed out, you used the mirror. And I think you're familiar with blind spots behind the car on either side of the car. You need to turn your body and look backward as you're backing. Look back over your shoulders instead of looking in the mirrors. That's also a major mistake. The third mistake was the worst mistake. As we went down and you approached the stop sign, you slowed down and you come to a pretty slow speed, but you didn't stop completely. You rolled on through the stop sign.
I put my leg on the brakes. Yeah, I put my leg on the brake and I look at there was no car. That is why I passed.
Well, you did. You're right. You did that exact thing. You stepped on the brake. You looked, I seen your head turn, you looked, but you didn't stop the car completely. You rolled through. It's kind of a rolling stop. And very critical mistakes. And
I think I'm not going to use it. I'm going to avoid this kind of mistake now. And maybe.
No. Shame on you. No.
Do we have agreement in this case?
We do.
What is that agreement?
Your Honor, the defendant's been charged with 3 simple misdemeanors: running a red light, failing to obey the officer's signal, and driving in violation of the terms of his learner's permit. Mr. Whiston and I had a chance to talk about the case, and the government is agreeable to dropping the failure to obey the officer's signal and driving in violation of his learner's permit if he will plead guilty to running a red light and pay a fine.
Is that the agreement, Mr. Worcester?
That is the agreement, Your Honor. I just want to point out that the defendant, Mr. Vogel, is a recent immigrant to the United States, and he was not familiar with a lot of the circumstances with our traffic laws, our driving practices. He has learned his lesson,